and bookkeeping consultant for B's Professional Services. She has over 10 years of experience in mortgage industry and has started her career in 2015, which has led us all to this beautiful room for this beautiful moment. Miss India Roberts is an entrepreneur. She's a business owner, and most of all, she is a pioneer. If you would lend an ear, she'll speak. If you don't lend an ear, she'll speak. If you clap, she'll speak. If you don't clap, she will speak. I am honored to be able to give the floor over to the owner and founder of B's Professional Services, Miss India Roberts.
All right, guys. This has been a journey. Not just today, but for several years to come. So, I always get this question about, how did you get the name B's? It's like, where did it come from? You know, how did it, come about? So a little back history on who I am and how this particular business started. Not B's Empower Her Conference, but B's Professional Services LLC. Okay, so it all started about 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, so about 5 years ago, life happened to me. So you know how Dr. Foster was talking about on purpose and being pushed into your purpose? Never knew that was going to happen to me. I thought I was pretty much invincible. I thought I had everything together, right? So when I tell you life happened, it happened tremendously. 4 years ago, I lost my mother. Okay, so I am a motherless child at this point. She is not lost, but she's resting in heaven. But my journey started in 2010. I was getting everything done, working in corporate America, working my way up the ladder, working in mortgage, doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing at the point in time that I was doing it. And I was so happy with it. I was okay. Of course, you come home and say, oh, coworker XYZ, coworker this, but you go back and you do it again in the rat race, hour and a half driving, hour and a half coming. Okay, so I did that for years. Okay, so 2010 happened. Okay, my mom was sick. She's usually like sick. This is just like the regular sick, right? We like this regular. So 2011, I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Because she's always sick, and I'm always trying to figure out, how to make things better. Now, one thing you want to know about my mom and myself, we saw each other every day. My house was here, her house is there. Didn't matter where she stayed, but she saw me every day. Yes. Why? Because she was my helper. She helped me with my 2 children at the time. Okay? So then, one day, my grandmother and her and I were sitting in her house, and we were actually talking about how she used to pick cotton for her grandmother. Didn't know that. I was like, why are you had to do, really? And I didn't know that. So that weekend, Sunday I get a phone call, oh, I'm not feeling too good. And I said, oh, okay. We'll go to the hospital. This is a regular sick. We'll go to the hospital. So I ended up keeping her. I was like, okay, she'll be okay. So Tuesday came. I go up to see her like I usually do, my regular routine. And so the doctor says, come here, let me talk to you for a moment. I'm like, yeah, so tell me what's going on. What do we have to do? What do we have to change? Because I'm thinking this is a regular sick. So the doctor said, well, I'm going to start out by saying, I'm going to tell you what medicine says. I'm like, okay. Medicine says that she only had 6 months to live. She had stage 4 liver cancer. And so I said, wait a minute, hold on. I said, are you talking about Bobby, my mother? Yes, ma'am, but I'm gonna tell you what God says. Now, if it's in His will, she'll be healed, okay? This is what the doctor is saying to me. And so I'm like, okay, so what do? I said, do we tell her? And so he's like, well, you tell her, but it may be a fear that she may perish faster. So guess what? I held it. Never told her. So I'm the only girl, 2 brothers, I'm the oldest, okay? So then her best friend comes to the hospital. So I'm sitting up there contemplating in my mind, trying to figure out, how am I gonna tell her best friend, which is her sister, that her sister only had 6 months to live, and it is her responsibility to tell her mother, who is still living today, that her child only had 6 months to live. And anyone that wants to see her has to actually be here within the next 6 months. So she comes and I sit down and I tell her, I say, okay, so this is what we're working with. See, in my mind, I didn't think that because I've always prayed and said, Lord, let her at least see my son be 15. Because she's always been sickly, right? So then I sit down and I tell her about our sister. I say, we have to get everybody here, you know, and it's a process.
Absolutely.
So within that process, we get to, we come from the hospital, fast forward, we get to the house, all the sisters and brothers know, nieces and nephews know, but she wasn't told. As fear for me that I would lose her faster. Now I was asking, Mom, you got your house in order? I just want to make sure, oh, I got my house in order. Read 23rd Psalms to her every day. Yea, do I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. So in that process of that 6 months, I become pregnant again. So I'm like, okay, go to the doctor. Didn't know I was pregnant. I really thought I had cancer too. I thought I was leaving with it because I'm like, my whole world, that I know it to be what it is leaving me now. So I know he's taking me too. That was my thought process. So when I got there to the hospital, he's like, yeah, but you think you can take a pregnancy test? I was like, yeah, ain't nothing happening though. We in a crisis right now. And he was like, no, we're just gonna do one for fun. I was like, okay, let's just do it. So I go, and he said, well, okay, just bend your legs down, and I'm going because my back was hurting so bad. So as I come up, he said, congratulations, you're pregnant. I said, who, me? I said, no, you don't understand what's happening in my life right now. I said, my mother is leaving me. Who is going to help me take care of this child? I said, I can't even tell her this. She is on her bed, ready to go see God. What am I going to do? So then, I leave, I go to the house. I'm distraught because I shut the whole place down. I done said everything in the book. Because I wasn't willing to accept it because I was afraid. So then, it took me about a week to tell her. But she knew. She said, you about to have another baby. I'm like, it ain't gonna happen, it ain't nothing. She said, you having another baby. She knew. So when I told her that I was having another baby, she's like, and it's gonna be a girl. I was like, oh Lord, I hope it's not a Holland Hazel. Is she in the building? Because she was a screamer.
She was.
And so, long story short, I told her that I was having another child for her. And unfortunately, I didn't realize it then that she wasn't going to be there. 4 months down the line, we are burying my mother. I'm 4 months pregnant, look like I'm 6, because I'm so big, so I'm like in a real big dress, and we're sitting there, and I worked the whole funeral as if it was a job, because it had to be done. So then, it's time for me to have the baby. So I'm like, oh, it's gonna be okay. I can get here, have to have cesarean. It's gonna be okay. So I get on the bed and I'm sitting up there. In my mind, I'm saying, oh, she's about to walk through that door. She's on her way. Because she's never left me like this. Hadn't realized that she wasn't coming. So as he starts to deliver the baby, and he's almost done and she's out, I look up to my husband and I say, where's my mom at? She hasn't made it here yet. And the doctor looks down at me and he's like, I said, well, where is she at? You know, I'm waiting on her. Now, mind you, I've had 2 children without epidural, and I had a natural. This by far was one of the hardest ones. So, as I realized that she wasn't walking through the door, because I kept looking at the door, and the doctor kept saying, what are you looking at the door? I said, I'm waiting on my mama. I'm waiting for her to come. Where is she? He looks down at me, and then it hit me like a ton of bricks. I just went boo-hooing. I cried, and I cried, and I cried uncontrollably. The doctor was like, oh my God, you're a little bit under stress, so we're going to go ahead and put you out. They put me out. Once they put me out and I came back, and as I came back and I'm still looking for her, I never said anything though. But I'm still looking for her. So I get out the hospital and I go to the house. That's when depression hit me. Could have been a little bit of postpartum, but depression hit me so bad that I cried uncontrollably every day. Nobody knew that I was in a depression because I hid it so well. I was going to the psych ward, right here off of 114 and 287, every day, 3 days a week. The doctor was saying, we're going to put you on this medicine to kind of calm you down because you're doing too much. And I'm like, I'm nursing my daughter. If I get on this medicine, it's going to get in her bloodstream, and what's going to happen to her? You know, my daughter, Hazel, she knew, she said, Ma, you haven't changed your clothes. I would get up every day, take them to school, do my job, did what I had to do. But every day, I would go to the psych ward 3 days a week. 3 days a week. Talking to my psychologist, trying to figure out what am I going to do. Wearing the same dress I had on 5 weeks. And if you have something going on, reach out to people. Don't be afraid, because you just never know what God has in store. You never know. So know that when you guys are in my presence, know that it's genuine. Because I always tell everyone, when you first meet me, either you're going to love me or you're going to like me. Either way, I'm fine with that. You know, because I don't want you guys to say, well, oh, well, she's doing this, she's doing. I want you guys to see me for who I am before I am. And that's just point blank, period. So what y'all see on social media, Facebook Live, that's me for real in real life. Like what you see is what you get. I'm not putting on the air. I'm not doing anything. I like to look good. Sure do. And I like to tell y'all what's going on out there in the tax industry, because you need to know. Because when you're going out and you allow people to do your taxes, you just need to know exactly who you're dealing with, point blank, period. Because it can be a time when you actually have to come see me, and I promise you, I'm going to give it to you straight. And the reason why I'm giving it to you straight is because I would want somebody to do that same thing for me. Don't sugarcoat it. If I'm going down, hey, tell me I'm going down. So I can prepare myself for whatever down it is. So no, when you see B, or B-E, B-E apostrophe S, know the meaning behind it. It stands for Bobby Elaine. And so the genuineness that you get from me, it's just what it is. I don't have anything to tell you. If you want to use my services, you use my services. If you don't, stay where you at. Use my website as a resource to challenge the people that's doing your taxes. Point blank, period. Go on the resources and go, oh, that's what's happening now. Oh, did you know XYZ was happening? If they can't answer that question, you might want to rethink who's doing your taxes. Or who's doing your bookkeeping. And this is just the God honest truth. Because if you guys know, and if you are following me on social media, you know I just did an audit for one of my clients. The IRS is charging him $266,000. He is 62 years of age. Do you understand what I'm, like no one understands how deep this thing is until you actually walk into that IRS office and say, hi, my name is India Roberts with B's Professional Services, and this is what we're here to do for this particular client. You know what I told that IRS rep? I told him, I said, you mean to tell me you're gonna allow him to sit here and die paying the IRS? Mm-hmm. I said, he is 2 years older than you. You ain't gonna even see 10 years from now. Because that's who I am. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. He just looked, he went scratching his head. He was like, well, yeah. I said, well, this is what I'm gonna do for you. This is what we're gonna do for my client. I need to know what deductions are allowable and which ones you're gonna not allow. It's like, oh, this, and that's okay. Well, let's do some negotiation here. Let's see, because of course, if you don't have good accounting and bookkeeping, you can disallow everything you got. Everything. So we got the $266,000 all the way down to $88,000. Wow. Now that doesn't even include the penalties and taxes at this point. Okay? So the penalties is 20 grand by itself, so he went back up to 110.
That's $100,000. That's a house.
So when I tell you guys that I'm serious about my craft and I'm really, I thank the Lord for the knowledge, because it had not been for him, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing now. Because in my thrust, I had to find a way to make money for my children and still be able to go to a football game.
Right.
Being an hour away, driving and an hour away coming, how am I going to make time for my children? I said, God, you got to lead me to something, and guess what? He led me to taxes. I said, Father, I need you to guide me and order because I don't know which way to go. Now, being an entrepreneur is something that I've always had within me. It's just that what makes you money at this time? A lot of people don't, a lot of people do, a lot of different things, but which one is actually bringing home the bread?
Exactly.
If it's not bringing home the bread, then I'm happy to tell you, just honestly, with the SBCD, they're going to ask you the same question. Which one is making you money? Where can you pull up a P&L, profit and loss, or something like that? If you don't have that, they will give you tools to create one on a spreadsheet, so they can get the numbers from you. And the reason why I bring them in is because you need to know what's out there that's free. I didn't know that. Free, business plan. Do a business plan. It's hard. It's a lot of work. But guess what? It is a thing out there called the internet and a thing that's called the template. It's not like it was years ago where you don't have these resources. So utilize your resources so that way you can actually be successful in your business. So with me, walking in purpose and on purpose, I definitely utilize my resources because I didn't know where to go. I just said, Lord, I gotta get out here and I gotta pay bills and I have to do this, I have to do that. I have to actually make some things happen, not only for me, but for my children and my family. I stepped out on faith. It's easier said than done. A lot of people tell you, oh, go ahead and do it. You can do it, you can do it. But then when you look at your bills next week that's due, that's a whole different animal.
Yeah. Sad.
And you can plan and you can plan and you can plan. And every time you plan, somebody else come in and just take you down. So it's more than just stepping out on faith, but also putting a plan in place for you to be able to step out on faith.
Yeah.
Did they say why out of him?
Yes, because he didn't come to me for 2014 tax season. He went somewhere else. To a pop-up shop, and they put all kinds of stuff on there.
Oh, okay.
All kind of items they put on there. Things that's triggers and red flags and all of this stuff that's on there. Then I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay. So my staff and I, we even went through 2014 with which I could not help him with 2014, but I did the best I could with the information that he brought me.
Because you had nothing to verify what he was saying.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think I never had to deal with it,
But it's real, and it's a reflection on your business too. You can think Big Brother, the eye in the sky, is gonna be saying, "Oh, let's see what he did. No, they're looking at your business too and how you conduct yourself when you go in there to do business.
Exactly.
And I thank God that I do have a working relationship with them, and I thank God that He's put people in place that has actually already introduced my business to them. So one thing that I want to tell you guys, and I'm so passionate about just telling you this, when it comes down to your taxes, by law you are liable for it. Don't let anybody tell you that you're not, because you are. One thing you do as a taxpayer, you go out and you do what? Do you have an audit protection program? Or can you guarantee my return?
What's that?
Okay, because we offer that.
Yeah.
We offer audit protection. Hey, especially for my business owners, it's not even a question. You get it, 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 you get it. Point blank, period. Because you're doing a Schedule C, a 1065, depending on what you're doing, you're going to get audit protection. Point blank, period. Because I'd rather us have somebody else, including me, than to have to go in there by myself. It's always good to have a backup, because when they're going to show up, they're going to show out.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the legwork. I'm going to have it in order, but I need someone else to help me as well, because guess what? These laws change every day, every month, every year. I mean, you can have so much up here, but when the laws constantly change, you have to also have a backup, and you also have to have a resource of individuals, and that's what I have. You know what actually separates me from other tax professionals than, the ones that you usually go to? It's all about resources. It's not the knowledge, we can all get the same knowledge. It's the resources. It's the resources. And it's the way that I treat my clients. It's my customer service skills. Because I look at you as me coming to you. When I was in mortgage, and everyone would call me and they had problems with their mortgage and couldn't pay their mortgage, I looked at them as if one day that's going to be me. And I'm not going to give you bad customer service because
You're going through it.
that's right. I'm going to treat you just as if I would want you to treat me if we were sitting across the table from each other. And that's how I treat each one of my clients. My clients come in, I don't care if they're coming in for whatever it is, if it's a copy, fax, notary, whatever it is, they can business entity formation. If they come in and they sit down with me, oh, I'm going to be doing business in Japan. Oh, you want an LLC? Not happening. It's not happening. Not in my business, because I understand the tax ramifications there, and I know what the treaties do here. So it's more than just knowing the information, but also know where to go get it. With that being said, are y'all ready?
Yes.
For this good old book? I'm gonna go really fast.
Do we need to put it up there?
Oh yes, you can pull it out. But I wanted to go over this, and I wanted to bring this to your attention. A lady who I did business with, I wanted to let you guys know, of course, if you haven't read your brochure, but our mission is to stimulate growth and development within a community by strengthening business women, inspiring women, and building better financially independent women as we start helping everyone realize that as women we can do and have it all. That is our whole purpose, is to make sure that you guys are strengthened and make sure that you understand that you can do and have it all. It's hard because we have so many different hats. And so with that being said, a good friend of mine, client, actually sent me this, and I had to frame it because it's really true about who's packing your parachute. And when I read it, I was like, ooh, is that for me? And it is so true, I think, in everyday time when you meet someone. It says, every now and then, I hear a story that is so great, I just had to pass it on to the people that I care about. Here it is. It was a man by the name of Charles Plumb. He was a Navy jet pilot in Vietnam. After 75 combat missions, his plane was destroyed by a surface-to-air missile. He ejected, his parachute came out, and he ended up being in enemy hands. He was then captive for about 6 years in Vietnam. one day, Mr. Plum and his wife were sitting in a restaurant. A man at another table came up to him and said, "You're Plum. You flew the jet fighters in Vietnam from the aircraft carrying Kitty Hawk. You were shot down." So he's like, "I remember you." "How in the world did you know that?" asked Plum. "I packed your parachute." So again, who's packing your parachute? So with that being said, and I'm not going to give you the whole story, but with that being said, who's packing your parachute? In our day-to-day, you just never know who's going to be a blessing to you.
Exactly.
We have a lot of parachute packers in this room. And definitely you will know who they are. They already know who you are. And so when they come to you and they say, "Well, you know what? I did help you at this point." And they remember you, that means that obviously you've done something in their life to be remembered. So remember how you treat people and how you teach people and how you use your customer service skills in entrepreneurship, because you never know who's going to be packing your parachute.
Absolutely.
And so that's one of the things that I actually wanted to kind of go over and share with you guys, because it makes more sense. Because at first I didn't get it. I was like, who packed my parachute? But I realized what she was saying at that point in time, because we touch so many people that sometimes we never know who packs our parachute. Okay, so this is the good stuff.